The sun rises over the bustling city, its light spilling across streets filled with people rushing to their destinations. Each person carries their own burdens, their own dreams, their own struggles. Yet how many of them pause to consider whether the path they're on is truly their own? Stoicism teaches us that freedom begins with indifference, not to life itself, but to the distractions and expectations that pull us away from our true purpose. To mind your own path is to recognize that the noise of the world is just that, noise. Imagine a man who spends his days chasing approval, measuring his worth by the opinions of others. He bends to every trend, molds himself to fit every expectation, and in doing so, loses himself entirely. The Stoics would ask, what has he gained? A hollow reputation, a fleeting sense of belonging, but at what cost? Indifference to external validation is not apathy, it is liberation. When you no longer cling to the judgments of others, you reclaim the power to define your own worth. Consider the philosopher Epictetus, born a slave, yet freer than most emperors. His body was bound, but his mind remained untamed. He understood that true freedom lies not in controlling the world around us, but in mastering our reactions to it. The crowd may roar, fortunes may rise and fall, but the Stoic stands firm, unwavering in their principles. To mind your own path is to walk with purpose, even when the world tries to pull you in 1,000 directions. There is a quiet strength in indifference, not the cold detachment of someone who cares for nothing, but the serene focus of one who cares only for what truly matters. The Stoics practice this daily, training themselves to distinguish between what is within their control and what is not. The weather, the opinions of others, the whims of fate, these are not ours to command. But our choices, our actions, our character, these are our domain. A ship caught in a storm does not rage against the wind, it adjusts its sails. So too must we navigate the chaos of life without being consumed by it. The Stoic does not waste energy on futile resistance but instead directs their efforts where they will have the greatest impact. Indifference to the uncontrollable is not surrender, it is strategy. Think of Marcus Aurelius, ruler of an empire, yet never enslaved by his power. He wrote his meditations not for fame, but for self-discipline, reminding himself daily to stay true to his path. Even as the weight of the world pressed upon him, he remained anchored in his principles. How many of us can say the same? The modern world bombards us with distractions, each one demanding our attention, our emotions, our time. But the Stoic asks, does this serve my purpose? The art of indifference is the art of focus. It is the ability to let the trivial remain trivial, to refuse to be drawn into every petty conflict or fleeting drama. Gossip, outrage, the endless chase for more, these are chains disguised as choices. The Stoic cuts them without hesitation. Freedom is not found in having everything, but in needing very little. A man who envies another's wealth, another's success, is like a prisoner staring through the bars of his own making. Stoicism teaches us to admire without coveting, to appreciate without clinging. What others have or do not have is irrelevant to your journey. Comparison is the thief of joy, and indifference to it is the key to contentment. The world will always demand your attention, your energy, your fear. Advertisements will insist you are not enough, social media will amplify every outrage, and people will try to dictate how you should live. But the Stoic remains unmoved. To mind your own path is to filter out the static and listen only to the voice of reason. There is a profound peace in letting go, not of ambition, but of unnecessary attachment. The Stoic strives for excellence, not for applause, but because it is the right thing to do. The athlete who trains in solitude, the artist who creates without an audience, the thinker who ponders without seeking validation, these are the ones who understand true freedom. Indifference is not a lack of feeling, but a mastery of it. The Stoic feels joy, sorrow, anger, but does not let these emotions dictate their actions. They observe them, learn from them, and then let them pass like clouds across the sky. To mind your own path is to refuse to be a puppet of fleeting impulses. The crowd moves in herds, swayed by trends, fears, and desires. But the Stoic walks alone when necessary, unshaken by the fear of isolation. Solitude is not loneliness, it is the space where clarity grows. In the silence, away from the clamor, you hear the whispers of your own wisdom. Every day, you are given a choice, to react or to respond. The reactive man is like a leaf in the wind, tossed about by every circumstance. The Stoic responds with intention, choosing their battles with care. Not every provocation deserves your energy. Indifference is the shield that protects your peace. The past is gone, the future uncertain, all we truly have is this moment. The Stoic does not waste the present dwelling on what cannot be changed or worrying about what may never come. To mind your own path is to be fully here, fully alive, unburdened by regret or anxiety. Criticism will come, as surely as the sun will set. The Stoic listens, considers, and then decides, without defensiveness or despair, whether the words hold value. Not every opinion is worth your attention. Indifference to baseless judgment is the armor of the self-assured. The pursuit of pleasure, wealth, or fame is a race without a finish line. The Stoic knows that these are not evils, but they are also not the essence of a good life. Happiness is found in virtue, in alignment with one's principles, not in the accumulation of external rewards. At the end of your days, what will matter is not how much you acquired, but how well you lived. Did you stay true to yourself? Did you act with integrity? The Stoic prepares for this moment always, living each day as if it could be their last. To mind your own path is to live without the weight of others' expectations. The world is vast, and your time in it is brief. Do not spend it chasing shadows or begging for approval. The Stoic walks with head held high, not in arrogance, but in quiet confidence. Indifference is not neglect, it is the ultimate act of self-respect. So mind your own path. Let others clamor, let the world spin madly on. The Stoic finds freedom not in having everything, but in needing nothing that does not serve their purpose. Indifference is the key, not to a life of cold detachment, but to a life of unshakable peace.